The inauguration of Brian at Magh Adhair in 978 then was both an important symbolic act of defiance against the Aeneal and a genuine assertion of a claim to something rather more than Munster overlordship. Mael Shacknail went into Thomond and cut down the bile of Magh Adhair before Brian, after it had been dug from the earth with its roots. At Magh Adhair is a large circular mound with a rampart and fossa. It was a place of inauguration of the O'Briens as Princes of Thomond. Originally this site could mean Adair's Plain. It's near the village of Quin in County Clare, and this was an inauguration site for the O'Brien clan, the original O'Brien clan, the Dalcassians, who were obviously powerful Dalcassian kings that would become powerful Munster kings. And High Kings of Ireland, including Brian Boru, his son Donnacha, and his grandson Turlough O'Brien. There were others as well, but they are disputed. Some say that the legacy of Magh Adhair extends beyond the role of an inauguration site towards a legend of the mythical figure of Adhair. Later on, this site hosted vibrant market fairs that continued on up until the mid-19th century apparently. Today, Magh Adhair's earthen mounds and stones preserve a vital piece of Irish history, offering a window into the traditions of power structures of bygone eras. It has a power. This place has tremendous power, and I felt it. And it unnerved me a little bit how these sites are holding such significance and that people just don't understand it, much like the time I went to Brian Boru's fort. This place on such a magical day in terms of weather was a beautiful moment to walk in. First finding the place, getting a parking spot was an ordeal, but once I saw it, I was like, oh my God, it was actually bigger than I expected. The actual mound was much bigger than what I expected. And the place is just beautiful. I couldn't believe how much was going on here. And there was almost like a hill going all around, almost like a huge kind of a moat. And then there was the mound in the middle with this almost inauguration stone. This is a kind of a stone with a depression in it, and which is often filled with water. And actually you couldn't get to the stone. I couldn't actually physically touch the stone because it was so wet around it, and it was actually genuinely like sinking earth if you walked into it. Also on the next field over was this standing stone. The beautiful greenery of the area. It just, when I took pictures of the pictures that you see online and stuff, doesn't do its significance at all. There's also this other part, which is actually a cairn. It looked like a little fairy fort because there was all these trees going around it in such a way that it looked like a fairy fort. So I had examined the whole area, and I went up onto the mound, and I kind of made a joke where I announced myself as the Dalcassian king, because I knew I was going to all these other Brian Boru sites later on in the day, which was fascinating. So yeah, it was just such a great experience for me, because it was so obvious, in my imagination, seeing Mael Shacknail powering down from Meath to take down the sacred tree of the Magh Adhair. That was a symbolic and political gesture because of Brian's rise to prominence as King of Munster, but also as a person that was becoming a massive competitor. And that's the way the story goes, is that the High King of Ireland actually went down and cut down this tree in direct opposition to Brian's rise. And that didn't work out for him at all, because Brian would take the High Kingship of Ireland from him. Maybe it's close to 20 years later, actually. What was interesting about this area, and this happened at two major sites related to Brian Boru, the Rock of Cashel and Béal Boru. Cows. There was cows in the next field. This happened exactly at Béal Boru and Rock of Cashel. It was interesting, just the timing of it. And at one point I was on top of the mound and they kind of ran over, they ran over towards the fence. Now, it was just unusual. They started scratching themselves on the fences, but they were genuinely looking up. Maybe there's not many people that come into this site, but it was just fascinating. It was just so weird in such a good way. One thing I will say, if you're coming to this, there's not much of a parking space there. I found the parking space up by a fence, a gate and stuff. But if you're not used to driving the Irish roads and stuff, you're going to find this difficult, because you kind of come on it from Quinn side and you're on it, and next thing you're like, where the hell do I park? There's nowhere to park. you have to turn around and then come back towards this kind of field where there's a gate, and I parked there and then walk back to it. It's not that far. So yeah, I would suggest people just be prepared for that. I would say to people, take a good hour, because you can look around this place for quite a while. And I was in there for quite a while. I did a live stream, but I think the live stream wasn't connecting properly because of the data and all that. But anyway, the Magh Adhair, what an unbelievable sight, and there's more of these to come on Brian Boru. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will get more of this content to you directly. If you feel like it and you want to contribute to me creating more content for you, make sure you check out my links. You can find a PayPal link there. You can contribute one time to me. Even better, for you to get more value, more content, you can join my Patreon. The link is in the description as well. Also, you can find me across all social media. I'm on all the major platforms. All the links are in the description.